beats all of them, always.
Every single time.
That no one ever wants to play paper, rock, scissors, gun.
Oh, man. So the...
Fuck guns, by the way. Sorry, move on. Fuck guns. Fuck all of you and your fucking guns. I just thought I'd say. Just so you know, fuck you all and your fucking guns.
Yeah. I couldn't fucking argue that if I wanted to. I just want to find out what this guy's position is because it just doesn't happen to say it. But give me just a second. Okay, so this guy is a virologist with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. His name is Robert Redfield is his name. And last week, it has come forward that he has admitted that American hospitals may have monetary incentive to inflate their coronavirus counts.
No.
Yeah.
I am shocked and amazed by this new information.
He was asked by somebody, doesn't matter who, of whether hospital has perverse incentive to inflate the numbers. And he said, I think you're correct in that we've seen this in other disease processes too. Really, in the HIV epidemic, people may have a heart attack but also have HIV. The hospital would prefer the classification of HIV because there's greater reimbursement. So I do think there's really some reality to that.
In Kelowna hospitals, where they don't get that kind of funding, they do that. So
yeah. It's not even. I mean, the U.S. has funding. Canada does not do funding for this.
Not privately,
but there's
like American hospitals.
Right, but they're still doing it anyways. I just don't get why.
I'm sure there's some sort of funding doctors and nurses get, or extra money for overtime or something. There's some reason they're doing it.
Yeah, that would make sense. So
I was told, and you guys can hear, if you want to know all the good secrets about COVID that I learned during the week that I had it, you can listen to the episode of the show I did last night without Gord, where I describe in detail what it's like to have COVID. Which I didn't.
It's not fun. But you didn't.
But I
it's still not fun.
Did for a week.
But it's being suggested that the death rates are being overcounted by a minimum of 25%.
Wow.
So,
which makes the actual, that's huge. That's a large chunk. 25% is ridiculous.
That's a huge number. And if they're saying that means it's probably closer to 50.
Yeah, right?
It's like, if that's what they're willing to admit to, then you know it's worse than that.
That's craziness. Well, this is what I've been saying the whole time, that I don't know anyone, right? I don't know anyone affected by it. My city, or the city I'm currently living in, doesn't appear to be affected by it. And yes, there's the odd person who knows someone who's got it, or had it, or whatever. There's a few, but all in all, my city, now your city, which is fucking nuts about this shit.
Yep.
Has anyone really got it? Do you know anyone? Really?
Nope, not a soul, and I know a lot of fucking people.
And that's a city of almost identical population.
Yep. Every person that I've seen that I'm friends with on through social media that I'm actually friends with, any person who is admitted to saying, "Oh, I know, I actually have a family member that died from COVID," and as soon as you ask them, "What did they die from?"
Yeah.
Well, the death certificate says COVID. That wasn't my question. Mm-hmm. What did they die from? Well, they died of a heart attack.
Yeah. Now,
they died of this.
COVID-19 does attack your immune system similar to the way HIV does. So you could get COVID and then die from something else. You don't die from, no one dies from HIV. HIV doesn't kill you. HIV shuts down your immune system, and then you die from like a cold, usually, or the flu, or
pneumonia, and anything else that gets you.
Yeah, whatever gets you. And that apparently is similar to COVID. COVID, it will harm your immune system to the point where something else could easily sneak in and fucking snuff you out. Mm-hmm. So these COVID deaths, they're not COVID deaths. And 25% doesn't shock me. You're right, it's probably 50.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, all this crisis money stops. All this nonsense stops if they admit it. And they're too far into it to admit
Yeah.
it now.
Can't admit to it all now. That's not going to work.
There would have been no bailout money. There would have been no CERB. There would have been...
Yeah. There would have been a whole lot of businesses not being shut down.
Yeah. But you can't admit that now. If you're a government or a medical professional, you can't say, oh, yes, we didn't have to do any of that. Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you... You can't backpedal now.
Well, when doctors try to, they're being shut down for speaking out.
Well, yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
Government can't afford to say, oops, no, you guys didn't have to all lose your jobs. Sorry about that.
Yeah. We did it wrong. My bad. We've been lying. Sorry.
They can't go back. Even if they weren't lying, now they have to start. What a fucking situation. Absolutely retarded. If you guys had just listened to me and Gordon fucking December. 20 days before Christmas, we told you how to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first official case wasn't even announced until December 31st. That's how fucking awesome me and Gord are.
That's right.
We were talking about it before the first official case. Ladies and gentlemen, the future with Eric and Gord. If you're not ready, we're leaving without you.
That's right.
I like that. That's a good line.
No second call. Just get the one call, and that's it. You're not on board. We're gone.
Nope.
Massachusetts, in the town of Hingham. Yeah, we're going to call it Hingham.
Hang him.
Hingham. Not hang him. Hingham.
Hang him.
Hang him. Just bang him. It'll be fine. It's all suicide anyway. Well, the Hingham Fire Department in Massachusetts, they've been flying this. It's called the Thin Blue Line flag from its fire trucks this month to honor the memory of a fallen police officer from a nearby town who was murdered in line of duty 2 years ago. So they were doing this as a memory for them. Well, a resident, I'm going to repeat this, a single resident wrote to leaders of the town complaining that the flag honoring law enforcement now symbolizes white supremacy and says that they need to be taken down. So they did.
I'm sorry. You're going to have to do that all again. The Thin Blue Line flag? What?
It's called the Thin Blue Line flag, and it's used to honor fallen police officers that have died in the line of duty.
Always has. There's a movie called The Thin Blue Line. There's a British
That's
TV
right.
show. It's
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is now, according to this one resident, that is now a symbol of white supremacy because all cops are racists, apparently.
Yes, that's not right. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I tried. No, sorry.
I'm just...
You guys know I'm on your side on this one. I think the cops are wrong. I've been saying that since way before you guys started saying it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's not all cops. And then not all cops are racist. That's stupid.
And to sit there and to say that a flag that memorializes cops being killed in the line of duty is now a form of white supremacy or a symbol of white supremacy, that's first of all, the flag is blue. Let's just start with that.
I don't understand. This is where it just goes too far, and then it sucks. And now your point gets muddled behind all these fucking freaks who say stupid shit like that. Oh, all cops are racist. Obviously, that's a stupid thing to say. And now your point is going to get... this kind of shit is what distracts people, and then they lose sight of the reality of the situation, and it's all for nothing. So, way to go for fucking everything up.
I just wish that the person who did this, the person who sent it, I wish that person's name was released. That's what I would like. I think that person's name should be released so that everybody in that town can go over and beat the living fuck out of him for being a whiny little bitch. Creating an issue that doesn't exist.
No, this is just this is what happened to Occupy.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a good movement until a bunch of people got involved that had nothing to do with what the original movement was about, and they fucked it all up.
And the worst thing was none of the firefighters themselves, like the firefighters refused it. We're not fucking taking them down. Not going to happen. So because they weren't, oh my God, the city had to send cops to remove the flag. So you as a cop now have to remove a thing that symbolizes the death of one of your brothers, one of your fellow fucking workers. And that's got to come down, and you got to be the one to take it down now.
I would have just said no.
That's what
That would have been my Kaepernick moment.
Yep. No, not doing it. Go fuck yourself. You want to take it down? Go do it your fucking self. I'm not touching it. And then yet the town leaders, they emphasize that they still support the law enforcement, but they also acknowledge that under their rule against political displays, they had recently refused to fly the LGBT pride flags on city property.
Slightly different.
Yeah. Exactly. Unreal. So there you go. Massachusetts, you just took a massive 2 shits on yourselves, you fucking moron. So way to go. Way to go to the town of, what was the town called again? I can't remember. Hingham. Fuck you, Hingham. May your city burn. Yeah. Moving to Toronto. People are now, I'll rephrase that. The infectious disease experts are saying that Toronto should look at easing up on public drinking laws. They think that it is better and safer for people to be drinking out in parks and beaches than it is to be going into a closed-in bar and drinking.
'Tis true.
So they want to, because they've been handing out tickets because people have been drinking on beaches and things like that. So they've been handing out tickets of fines of up to $300 to people. Now, the cops themselves, they said that they're like, look, we have no interest in ticketing somebody who's just having a fucking glass of beer or a bottle of beer, a can of beer and a glass of wine. We don't care about those people. That's not who we're after. We're after the people doing it in excess. The organized parties with cases of beer that are brought onto the beach or into parks. Those are the ones they're going after. They're not going after just that there's a couple sitting down and they're having a glass of wine with a little picnic thing. They are not going to fucking bother them.
I've never had a problem at the beach.
Yes, you have. No, not the beach. You have in parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the air once.
That was in the middle of the street, and that was on purpose.
Hilarious. Yeah, it's true.
But no, if I'm just sitting and having a beer in a park, they usually don't bug me.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah, they're just basically saying, look, in Ontario they have enough things in place, like drunk in public, and just disorderly and things like that. That keeps it all. Like if you just go out and have a beer or two, whatever else, as long as you're not acting like a fucking asshole, you'll be fine.
See, that was always my contention. You have the appropriate measures in place for if this gets out of hand. So why can it not be? I don't understand. If it were illegal, then you wouldn't need those bylaws and fines to have been set. So
yeah,
that was always my argument.
Yep.
Part of it.
Yep, I fully agree. And let's just face it, in today's day and age of the social distancing, it's way easier to social distance in a park or on a beach than it is inside a restaurant.
Well, that's what I've been saying from day fucking one. When you go to the beach, when do you ever sit within 6 feet of the people beside you?
Never.
Nobody ever does that at the beach. It's fucking absolutely the best place to be.
Fireworks. That's the only time when you're remotely closer to somebody. When you're watching the giant fireworks.
Everyone who goes to fireworks deserves COVID.
Says the guy that actually went to the one. You're like, it was actually really nice. I remember that conversation.
No, I admitted lots of people like them. That's all.
That's all. So yeah, so there's that. You know,